Imagine a world with no guns, no gunshots, no bullets, no explosions. For over 95% of human history, that world was real. Then, one day, in a quiet monastery in ancient China, a group of monks were not trying to build a weapon at all. They were trying to live forever. And by accident, they created the very thing that would change war, power, and human history forever. This is the story of how humans invented the gun, and why they did it. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are traveling back over 1,000 years to a time when swords, spears, and bows ruled the battlefield. We are going to answer one of the biggest questions in human history. How did we go from throwing rocks to firing bullets? And more importantly, why did we ever build something so powerful, so destructive, and so world-changing? Stay with me till the end, because the answer is stranger and more human than you might think. Let's begin. The accidental discovery. Our story starts in China, sometime around the 9th century. Back then, Chinese alchemists were obsessed with one dream: immortality. They mixed strange ingredients, hoping to create a potion that would let emperors live forever. One day, someone combined 3 simple things: sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. Instead of eternal life, they created fire. Sudden, violent, uncontrollable fire. They had just invented gunpowder, and they did not even mean to. At first, gunpowder was not used for war at all. It was used in fireworks, to celebrate festivals, and to scare away evil spirits. But it did not take long before someone asked a darker question. What if we used this to fight? From fire to fear. By the 10th and 11th centuries, Chinese soldiers began strapping gunpowder to arrows and spears. They called it the fire lance. Picture this: a soldier holding a bamboo tube packed with gunpowder, attached to a spear. When lit, it did not just stab the enemy, it burned them, blasted them, and terrified them. For the first time in history, a weapon could kill from a distance, using nothing but fire and force. Word of this new weapon began to spread. Along the Silk Road, through merchants, travelers, and eventually, the Mongols. The Mongol Empire, one of the largest empires the world has ever seen, carried gunpowder technology far beyond China's borders, into the Middle East, into India, and eventually, into Europe. The birth of the gun. By the 1300s, engineers in the Middle East and Europe began experimenting with metal tubes instead of bamboo. They realized something powerful. If you packed gunpowder into a closed metal tube and placed a small projectile inside, the explosion would launch that projectile forward at incredible speed. This was the birth of the true gun. Early versions were called hand cannons. They were heavy, slow, clumsy, and honestly quite dangerous, even to the person holding them. But they had one advantage that changed everything. A peasant with a gun could now defeat a heavily armored knight. For centuries, warfare belonged to the strongest, the most trained, the most elite warriors, men who spent their entire lives mastering the sword and the bow. But a gun did not care about years of training. It did not care about size, strength, or noble birth. Suddenly, battlefields were no longer only for the elite. They were for anyone who could pull a trigger. Why did humans really build it? So why did we do it? Why did humans take something built for immortality and turn it into a weapon? The answer is simple and a little uncomfortable: power. Kings and empires were constantly at war, fighting for land, resources, and control. Whoever had the strongest weapon survived. Whoever had the strongest weapon ruled. Gunpowder gave rulers a terrifying new advantage: the ability to defeat massive armies, break through castle walls, and conquer enemies faster than ever before. Cannons soon followed, capable of destroying walls that had stood for centuries in mere hours. Fortresses that once seemed unbreakable became useless. The gun was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of a new era, an era where technology, not tradition, decided who held power. Part 5. From ancient weapon to modern world. Over the following centuries, guns evolved rapidly. From clumsy hand cannons, to muskets, to rifles, to the firearms we recognize today. Each version faster, more accurate, and more powerful than the last. What began as an accident in a monastery, a search for eternal life, became one of the most influential inventions in human history, reshaping empires, ending old forms of warfare, and forever changing the balance of power between nations and between individuals. So, the next time you think about the gun, remember, it did not begin with war. It began with monks searching for eternal life who accidentally discovered fire in a bottle. From that single accident came an invention so powerful, it reshaped human history forever. If you enjoyed learning how ancient humans changed the world with one accidental discovery, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because next time we are diving into another incredible chapter of ancient human history. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.